Disney is one of the most evil companies in the world.
Why do you keep telling me this, guys? Do you think I care? You think I care if Disney's an evil company? Look at this hat I'm wearing. That's some kind of animal from some Disney movie. I don't know what it's from. I don't care. Are animals evil? Probably. I don't care. I don't care at all.
Which might sound kind of strange. How could the company behind Mickey Mouse, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Aladdin, and Frozen possibly be evil? I mean, Disney was everyone's childhood. We would watch their films and be inspired by their beauty and elegance. Even today, our favorite films are from Disney. In fact, in 2020, 7 of the top 10 highest grossing films were made by Disney. But trust me when I say that Disney isn't the company that you think it is. Disney is a ruthless monopoly. A monopoly that is dominating the entire media landscape, owning
Hey, that sounds like a capitalism problem, okay? All right, go talk to your local congressman. Go talk to your local politicians, okay?
Marvel, Pixar, Lucasfilms, 20th Century Fox, Vice, The History Channel, ESPN, and just so many more, homogenizing the world's creativity. They are also one of the 6 companies that have consolidated control of nearly all American media, and they are run by ruthless, faceless executives squeezing every penny they can from our childhood nostalgia. It's gotten to a point now where Disney's so ruthless for money that they even threaten to sue the parents of a dead child for putting Spider-Man on their 4-year-old's grave.
That's terrible. Is that real?
All because they were ruining, quote, the innocence and magic of their characters. Also that Disney can get every penny possible. It's why Disney removes black people from their posters in China. It's why
Well, it's really more because China is incredibly racist and Disney wants to make money, just letting you know.
the company apologizes for mentioning Taiwan and praises the government officials committing a genocide as we speak. And with their recent movies like Lightyear failing to break—
Well, you want to know what it is? You want to know why they remove black people from China, like movies in China, and they pander to China? It's because you as an American, you don't, like, I'm not saying to this guy, but you guys don't care. I guess I don't care enough either. I mean, this is sad reality. We don't care enough. We don't care enough about the fact that Disney will pander to these other countries. We just don't give a shit. Because if we did, we'd actually, like, we're sitting here, people are talking about boycotting a gay kiss. Why did nobody boycott? Like, everybody, like, nobody cares. Conservatives will be like, they'll remove a black person from a poster, but they'll add a gay kiss, blah, 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 blah. It's okay, but you don't really care about the black guy getting removed. And the progressives don't give a shit either. Everybody's still going and seeing Star Wars. So we don't care enough. That's why they do this shit. If America's like, yeah, if you're gonna do this shit, we're not gonna watch your content anymore. Guess what? Boom, they'd stop doing it. But I'm still going to Disney in a month.
Break even and flopping at the box office, it seems like Disney is now on a downward spiral, with their stock price going from almost $200 a share to $95 a share. Something has gone very—
Time to buy in. It's time to buy in, guys. It'll go back up, maybe. I don't know stocks. That's what somebody told me.
Very wrong for Disney. This isn't the same company we grew up with. Somewhere, something went drastically wrong, and after spending countless hours trying to figure this out, trust me when I say that the story of Disney is a rabbit hole.
Yep. Disney gut.
But before we continue, I want to talk to you about today's sponsor, Galaxy Lamps.
I want to talk to you about today's sponsor, Disney on Ice. I'm just kidding. All right, guys, go look at Galaxy Lamps. There's probably something in here. Go look at that person's thing.
Do this by making sure to
shut the fuck
click
up.
the link in this Disney was born. Walt was a gifted artist and drew regularly throughout his childhood, with some of the cartoons being showcased.
You know what's crazy? I watched the Disney documentary on Disney Plus. It was like 6 episodes. It was really good. But they definitely fucked over their like animators or whatever. It's really fucked up.
Military newspapers during World War I. But back then, Walt understood that drawings wouldn't make him rich. He was unemployed, and there were just so many cartoon artists across the world, it was almost impossible to stand out.
I know they had like starving artist losers back then too. Shit.
So how could Walt become rich while selling cartoons? This seemed near impossible, because drawing cartoons alone wasn't going to be enough.
Porn cartoons. I solved the problem already. You sell porn cartoons. Done. I see it. Shade? Is it shade base? Shad base? How do you say it? I know you degenerate fucks in my chat know how to say it.
So Walt had to think outside of the box, and that was when Walt noticed the growing industry of animation. Back then, the main animations involved stop motion with objects, puppets, clay, or cutouts, and drawn or painted animations. After noticing the untapped industry of drawn animations, Walt would begin to go all in on animation, partnering up with fellow artist Art Iwerks, a man who would soon become his—
What's easier? Drawn animation or Stop motion. I feel like stop motion is probably easier.
Partner and close friend. At the start, Walt and Ub ended up doing cutout commercials for the Kansas City Film Ad Company. They later considered starting a new business that would draw cartoons for a local theater, an idea which ended up becoming Walt's first company, Lothogram Studios. Although this venture didn't work out too well and went bust in just a couple of years, it was this failure that left Walt even more determined to succeed, and so he left for Missouri for Hollywood, saving nothing for the swim back, bringing with him just a 12.5-minute film he and Ub were working on. This film was called Alice's Wonderland, and to their luck, the short film was purchased, resulting in the creation of their new company on October 16th, 1923, the Walt Disney Company. The initial—
Wait a minute. You said that Shadebase drew a picture of Keemstar's daughter blowing Donald Trump? There's no way that's real. That's insane. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up if that's true. Wow. Terrible.
business was a joint partnership between Walt and his brother Roy Disney. In less than 3 years, Disney had produced 2 movies and even purchased their own studio in Hollywood. A few years later, in 1927,
I feel like you're trolling me right now. There's no way that's real.
Disney created Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, who was one of their first cartoon characters to ever have a personality. As outlined by Walt himself, quote, "Hereafter we will aim to make Oswald a young character, peppy, alert, saucy, and venturesome, keeping him also neat and trim." With Oswald, Walt began to explore the concept of personality animation, in which cartoon characters were defined as individuals through their movements, mannerisms, and acting, instead of simply by their design. Walt had expressed, quote, "I want the characters to be somebody. I don't want them to just be a drawing." In order to make his Oswald cartoons look real, Disney turned away from the styles of Felix the Cat, Coco the Clown, Crazy Cat, and Julius the Cat, and began emulating the camera angles, effects, and editing of live-action films at the time.
Why the fuck are they all cats? The fuck is up with that?
Because Walt didn't want his new character to simply just be a prop for gags. Instead, he explained that his intention was to make, quote, "Oswald peculiarly and typically Oswald." And by doing this with Oswald, Walt was creating groundbreaking innovation in animation and would soon go on to change the course of animated cartoons forever. However, other people were noticing this and wanted a piece of the pie themselves. And that's why in 1928, Walt was faced with disaster. Because while Oswald was successful, it was this success that would actually bring down Walt. Because when Disney wanted to negotiate a larger fee for producing the Oswald series, the film producer Charles Mintz wanted to instead reduce payments. Mintz had also persuaded many of the artists working for Disney to actually work for himself. Mintz actually threatened to start his own studio and produce the series himself if Disney refused to bow down to the threat, causing him to lose most of his animation crew and the money for the project.
Damn, what an asshole. What the fuck? Wait, they don't have copyright back then? What the hell?
Disney was now back at rock bottom. He had to create something big and fast in order to keep the company afloat. And luckily, Walt did have a trick up his sleeve. During this heated period between Mintz and Walt had created Mickey Mouse. The mouse was created privately while Disney completed the Oswald cartoons. He did this to hide away from Charles Mintz, as he never trusted the film producer, even though by creating Mickey Mouse, he was breaking the contract. At the time, Disney was commissioning Ub Iwerks to begin developing a new character concept. This was a stressful time because Disney didn't like any of the concepts. All the designs of different animals, including dogs and cats, just weren't appealing. But that was, apart from one, Mickey Mouse.
Whoa.
So Disney went through with a
Imagine they named it Mickey Dog. Yeah, you know what I mean? That'd be crazy.
production of Mickey Mouse in private, with the character actually being voiced by Walt Disney himself. Following the principles of personality animation that he originally learned through his Oswald character, Walt's artistic style made Mickey one of the world's most recognizable fictional characters. His first
What
debut
the fuck was that? That was horrifying.
Walt's artistic style made Mickey one of the world's most recognizable fictional
Look at that. That's one of the most. Oh wow, what an awesome character. Could you imagine that like passed for being like, wow, that's so cool back in the day? That's horrifying, bro.
characters. His first debut in Steamboat Willie was an immediate sensation and led to Disney's dominance in the animated market for many years. Not long after, Disney started introducing many other well-known characters, including Minnie Mouse, Goofy, and
Whoa, hold on a second, that was a little sus.
Years. Not long after, Disney started introducing many other well-known characters, including
Wow, that's hot. I wish Minnie Mouse would ride me, bro.
Minnie Mouse, Goofy, and Donald Duck. And it seemed like everything was turning for Walt. His empire was expanding, his cartoons internationally recognized, he'd grown his team enormously, and his growth had far overtaken Mintz's. He seemed to have gotten the perfect revenge. But behind this golden surface was an impending disaster, with Walt being betrayed by the distributor for Mickey Mouse, Pat Powers. You see, Pat had gotten Walt to sign a dodgy contract with Universal Pictures, where they would take the vast amount of profits from Mickey Mouse, leaving Walt feeling underpaid. And at the same time, Pat would then convince Walt's close partner Ub Iwerks, the guy who designed Mickey Mouse, the guy essential to Disney's success, to now abandon Disney. With Walt being betrayed and losing his close partner, he would go on to have a nervous breakdown. With all this stress and turmoil, he decided to take a break abroad in Cuba with his wife. But this break would do wonders for Disney. Restoring his mental health, ambition, and team, he returned a few years later in 1931 to sign Disney into a contract with Columbia Pictures, allowing Disney to now distribute their cartoons in Technicolor. This new color technique would be used in their Silly Symphony series, allowing Disney to win its first Academy Award for Best
Bro, it's crazy though, because like if you look at these old animations, they're actually really good. And I think that when they do old, I think they're all frame by frame, right? I don't know what the frame rate is of like old stuff like that. But that's insane. They'd have to like redraw every single frame. Like, how many frames per second do you think that they were running on?
cartoon in 1932, and the experience they gained with color animations and the increase in funds led them to start working on their first full-length film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. When they released this film in 1938, it would go on to become the highest-grossing film of all time. But once again, big challenges were just around the corner for the Disney company.
Yeah, the biggest challenge, supporting Hitler, because Walt hates Jewish people. It's incredible stuff. I guess anti-Semitism really drove creativity. I don't know what it is.
In 1939, World War II began, disrupting the world economy irreparably, and Disney was...
Did I say onion? Did I say in my onion? Wow. Or did I say oninion? What the fuck did I say? Why are you making fun of me, dude? Oh, you did. Okay.
Feeling the impact. Because while Disney was reeling on the success of Snow White, the studio was producing Pinocchio in early 1938.
Pinocchio was mid, by the way.
Along with Fantasia in November of the same year. Both of these films were then released in 1940, and neither performed well at the box office. Not because the films were bad, but because...
Yes, because Pinocchio is mid, sorry.
The European market had vanished. No one was going to the cinema to watch Disney films when bombs were hailing across the continent, which is why the studio made a loss on both pictures and was deeply in debt by the end of February 1941.
The Great Recession, the Great Disney Recession.
In response to this financial crisis, Disney and his brother Roy would take the company public. And to please their new investors, Disney would have to take drastic measures that would include massive salary cuts, which would eventually cause an animator strike in 1941, which would go on for 5 weeks, crippling the company even more. The only way Disney was really making money anymore was through its anti-German and anti-Japanese propaganda films for the US military. However, by scraping the barrel for money, Disney
What? They were doing propaganda cartoons? That was like government funded? That's fucking incredible. Holy shit. I'm not saying it's bad propaganda. It looked a little racist, but fuck Nazis, you know?
managed to survive the war, and was then able to start focusing on original material once again. They initially found it difficult to pick up where it had left off, but 1950 proved to be a turning point, thanks to the success of their first live-action film, Treasure Island.
And that's crazy. Yeah, even Disney went through a political arc. Sheesh, you know? That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
Because of the success, Disney now had more money to launch several television series, with their first one, Mickey Mouse Club, making its debut in 1955.
Woo!
And again, this was an even bigger hit,
Goofy.
with the 50s being the absolute golden years for Disney. And with all their mounting successes in this period, Disney would open their first theme park in California. Throughout this entire stretch, there seemed to be no issues. Everything they were producing was a massive hit.
You know, back then, I think you might have paid for admission and then you paid for tickets to take the ride. Like, you would pay like a one ticket per ride. Now, we're a much different time. I guess you can't do that anymore because the lines are like fucking half-hour long. So, you know, if you only paid for a ride, what are you gonna pay, $10 a ride? You know, you have to pay like fucking $20 or something to make money.
They were gaining worldwide recognition, and Disney would seem unstoppable. But after more than a decade of major successes, again something devastating would happen to the Disney company. On November 30th, 1966, Walt Disney would die as a result of his ongoing lung cancer complications, meaning his brother Roy Disney would take over the business. Although in less than 5 years, the investors wanted him to be replaced, causing the Disney family to be succeeded by an executive team in 1971, marking the end of the family name's leadership in the company, and would also mark a major shift in Disney's future. Out were the days of handmade original Disney productions. In was
So where's the evil come in? Is it the price gouging or whatever, or the pay cuts? Where's the evil? Is the anti-Semitism? Is it the what do we do? What's going on here?
the corporatized, hollowed out Disney. The focus now? Make as much money as humanly possible. And so in the following decades, Disney would start taking advantage of merchandising opportunities, it would produce more feature films, and construct numerous projects around the globe, including their first international theme park in Tokyo during 1983. And whilst everything did look good on the surface...
Yo, you know what's fucked up? Apparently that there was like a really bad hurricane or something in that Tokyo thing, and like the ground split. People, I think, died at the park. It's just fucked up. Like there was or it was a tsunami. Was that what it was? I forget exactly what it was. That shit was fucked up, bro. That's crazy, man. How scary is that?
The company was noticeably different after Walt's death. You see, during the early 1980s, American movie making was changing. Audiences were just less interested in the family films that had been the mainstay of Disney for many years, and the company was just now not meeting the standards of their competition. Disney's competition was making films garner towards the prolific teenage and adult markets, something that Disney couldn't catch up with. And at the same time, because of the widespread perception that Disney stock was undervalued relative to the company's assets, there were several hostile takeover attempts of the company. And so to strengthen Disney from this assault, shareholders brought in...
What is that, a hostile takeover attempt? What does that mean? I don't speak moron. I don't speak bullshit, bro. All right.
Michael Eisner as the new CEO. And this is when Disney completely changed. Because unlike most higher-ups currently working there, Michael Eisner was the first well-connected Hollywood executive who would bring the company back into the mainstream. Shortly after joining Disney, Eisner realized that the company was sitting on an untapped goldmine of intellectual property that could easily be modernized for their own standalone films. And so from 1989 to 1994...
Well, I mean, if Michael Eisner, was that his name? What the hell's his asshole's name? I don't even know. Michael Eisner. If he was responsible for putting Brendan Fraser in the Tarzan movie shirtless, Disney can't be so bad. You know what I mean? Disney can't be so bad.
a goldmine of intellectual property that could easily be modernized for their own standalone
Look at that. Woo!
films.
But that wasn't Brendan Fraser.
And so from
Yes, it was.
1989 to
I don't know.
1994, Disney would enter a Renaissance era, launching classics such as The Little Mermaid and Aladdin, which would go on to revive the company and bring back modern audiences massively. And with the rise in its audience share, the more people that would visit Disney's theme parks. However, this streak wouldn't last that long. In the mid-1990s,
I'm the baby. That's from the show Dinosaurs. Not bad.
Eisner started making very questionable business decisions that made others doubt his ability to carry out his position as CEO. For example, long jealous of Tokyo's Disneyland riches and frustrated by being left out of the profits, Eisner vowed to create a new international resort in Paris. He saw this as the mechanism that would further catapult Disney's success.
I think they called it Euro Disney at first, and like people hated the name of that. But
However, at the start, this international resort was a total disaster. Disneyland Paris lost the company a ton of money and brought it into major financial trouble. And because of this, investors were pulling out of Disney. And so because of Disneyland Paris'
shit.
failure to make money, Eisner would begin making dramatic reductions in theme park spending, which would of course impact the constructions of new parks, as well as the maintenance, cleanliness, and safety of the already existing parks. This would then go on to cause Disney even more troubles. And this was seen in 1998. While a couple was waiting to board the sailing ship Columbia, one of the tamest rides at Disneyland, the 34-year-old man and his wife were struck in the head by a huge piece of metal flung from the ship.
what the fuck? What do you mean?
The steel was intended to secure the ship to the dock, but instead it was violently torn from the hull and thrown into the throng, killing the man and disfiguring his wife, becoming
That's horrible, bro. What the fuck? I never heard about that. That wasn't in the Disney documentary. Why would they exclude that? Why would Disney exclude that from the Disney documentary? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. That's fucked up, though.
one of the most abhorrent events in the history of theme parks, all because of Eisner pulling out funds for the parks, highlighting just how drastically the Disney company had turned under the leadership of Michael Eisner. The man who saved Walt Disney was now making one bad decision after another. There were many other blunders from Eisner as well, like Disney's failed attempt at an AOL-style internet portal, which would become an embarrassing joke for the company. Not to
Wait, what did they do?
like Disney's failed attempt at an AOL-style internet portal,
That looks cool as fuck. Why didn't this go? Chicken Little? Wow, crazy. Why didn't this go well? I thought kids liked stupid shit like this. They got fucking Toontown over here. Kids love Toontown. Come on, dude. I never played Toontown. I played World of Warcraft.
which would become an embarrassing joke for the company. Not to mention all the regular infighting amongst executive staff, and eventually the straw that broke the camel's back, appointing his friend Michael Ovitz as president of the company. By causing this decline in Disney's
Michael and Michael, baby.
reputation, along with pushing investors out of the company, Disney's executive team was forced to fire Eisner and pay him $140 million to finally remove him from the CEO position. The whole debacle was a complete disaster
Felt terrible for him.
for Disney, both financially as well as in the eyes of the public. Once Eisner was gone in 2005, Bob Iger, a former weatherman, took over the role of CEO, and this would seemingly be a great move for Disney, as after intense negotiations,
Why? Because they have a fucking weatherman? That guy was a weatherman that took over? What is it? It's supposed to be like a metaphorical thing? All right, we need a weatherman so we can weather this storm of bad reviews. What the fuck?
between Bob Iger and Steve Jobs, Disney would go on to purchase its biggest competitor, Pixar. This was mainly because Pixar was taking away a huge part of Disney's market share, releasing huge films like Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles. And
Wow, really? Pixar? Wait, those weren't Disney movies originally? Wait, what? That's not true. Wait. That wasn't a fucking Disney movie originally? What the fuck? Are you sure? It was made in 1995. When did Disney buy... Wait, they say when they bought it?
Pixar was taking between Bob Iger and Steve Jobs for the role of CEO, and this would seemingly be a great move for Disney, as after intense negotiations between Bob Iger and Steve Jobs, Disney would go on to purchase its biggest competitor.
Wait, they bought them in 2006. Wait a minute. What the fuck? Wait, did they buy... What the fuck? Bro, are you kidding me? They bought them in 2006? Wait, when was... What the fuck? Toy Story wasn't Disney. Wait. Oh, Pixar originally made a contract with Disney to produce the film. Okay. All right. That makes sense. I thought I was fucking insane. Okay. All right.
Pixar. This was mainly because Pixar was taking away a huge part of Disney's market share, releasing huge films like Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles.
Because I'm pretty sure all these are Disney movies, right?
And while this was happening under Eisner's reign, Disney was losing its popularity. The public seemingly wanted Pixar more than Disney, but with Pixar now under the Disney umbrella, the market was completely under Disney's control, going on to produce more and more 3D animated films, with films such as Moana and Coco. But Disney went
Dude, Coco, I cried, bro. It was fucking sad. It was sad. I'm gonna watch the Coco again because it was so good.
Stop there, because in 2009, Disney later bought Marvel Studios, which was one of the first of many acquisitions that would increase Disney's monopoly of the entertainment industry. And this was Disney's new strategy. Instead
I guess it's I guess it's a good strategy for Disney if they don't want to produce actual good movies to just buy all their competitors and make them have shit movies. Hey guys, let's buy Marvel and make more than anything else. Let's buy Star Wars and let's make a absolute abysmal dog shit sequels trilogy. Yeah, let's do that. Ah, yes, beautiful. There you go.
Instead of focusing on their own content, Disney would just buy out all its competition. And that's why over the last 10 years, the business tactics of Bob Iger have resulted in Disney cornering the entire entertainment industry. Disney has since bought a slew of major studios, television stations, and intellectual properties, including Lucasfilms, ABC, ESPN, 21st Century Fox, and just way too many other things to list off in this video. I mean, it's literally gotten to a point now that many are calling for Disney to be broken up due to ongoing monopoly concerns.
Probably should do that, you know.
And so with
you could probably give Mickey Mouse the original Disney IPs, of course, and maybe you give Donald Duck. I think Donald Duck would do good at Star Wars, and maybe you give Goofy Marvel, right? And you can give Scrooge McDuck Fox.
With all this backstory in mind, you might start to notice a trend. Most of the defining moments of Disney are during leadership changes, and that's why it's important we talk about Disney's new CEO, Bob Chapek. Bob Chapek comes from a retail background and is known for cutting costs, placing an emphasis on merchandise at the expense of media.
That's crazy because they got rid of Disney stores, which was unfortunate.
Disney investors and the executives want Chapek to make
stores kind of lame anyway, to be honest with you. They didn't really have anything fun in there. It was just a bunch of bullshit, but it was cool to go in there and go, oh wow, and then leave, you know?
More profits, which isn't a major shock. But what more can Disney do when it's cornered the entire US market? There's nothing else to control. It's getting harder and harder for Disney to expand. It's conquered the European, Latin American, and American markets. And so with this in mind, it shouldn't be any surprise that Disney has now been further expanding their relationship with China, whilst also trying to please its biggest investors like BlackRock by pandering to their political beliefs, causing Disney's content in recent years to take a much weirder turn. And the results of this have become very apparent in just the last couple of years. In recent years, Disney has been forced to pander heavily to their investors. With their new cost-cutting ruthless executives, Disney is doing everything it can to maintain its growth. And this behavior has been going on for a few years now. However, you'd think by doing this sort of thing that it would be a PR disaster for the company. And yet, they haven't really stopped. In fact, the company has become even more morally bankrupt. For example,
it's one of those things where, like, you know, you just don't respond to the hate and people don't care anymore. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times, if you don't respond to it, you just let people talk and bitch, and then you don't say anything. Because a lot of times people, they're looking for you to respond, and then, like, all of a sudden your response is worse than what you're doing. That at least that's public perception. You know, it makes it more real. That's fucked up.
They've become so desperate to squeeze even more money that they actually refused grieving parents to put a picture of Spider-Man.
Is that real? I gotta
become so desperate to squeeze even more money that they actually
Disney bans grieving father from having Spider-Man on son's grave. Is this real? I gotta look into this. Disney bans grieving father. This is from 2019. Because they want to preserve the magic of their character. Is this real? If that's real, that's crazy. I'm trying to look for like a more reputable article. You know? I guess this is decently reputable. New York Post. Wow. Denies dad request. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd still put it up. Sue me, bitch. Wow. That's fucked up. They want to preserve the innocence of it. Is that what they said the reason why? That's really messed up, bro. You know what's crazy though? Hold on, let me see if I want to show you something. You're telling me that you want to preserve the innocence of your brand, but you got balloons looking like this, bro. You got balloons with a fucking penis on them. Oh, hey guys, we need to preserve our brand. Hey, should we make balloons? Yeah, for sure. Where should we put the air and his dick? This guy has a dick penis balloon. You're telling me you give a fuck? Oh, whoa, what the fuck is this? This guy's giving himself a foot job. You worried about preserving your fucking brand? What the fuck are you doing? This guy's using his own feet to fucking jerk his dick. Isn't that fucking incredible? Look at this, even this pose is just so gay. I guess there's nothing wrong with that. Sorry, guys. Bro, look, he's got a little wiggler. Look at this. This isn't a coincidence anymore. This isn't a coincidence anymore, guys. All I did was Google Spider-Man balloon, and this is what came up. This isn't a coincidence. This is on purpose at this point. You guys can't claim ignorance. There it is. I think I count this one too. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. You really out here with the whole ass Spider-Man penises, and you're gonna deny this guy, this father, the ability to put it on their grave. Look at this. What the fuck is this? This is just creepy now. I'm just lost in the sauce, dude. What the fuck? Holy shit! Wow, incredible, dude. I'm fucking infatuated by this. By what's going on here? Crazy. Okay, back to the video. Get out of here. The fuck is all this shit? What did I open up? All right.
He refused grieving parents to put a picture of Spider-Man on their 4-year-old's grave, all because Disney wanted to, quote, preserve the magic and innocence of its characters, unless of course the father paid them a handsome fee. However, trust me, this is only the start here, because Disney is unironically supporting genocide in China. You see, behind closed doors in Hollywood, nearly every producer has to regularly self-censor their content, all in an effort to appease the Chinese government, and Disney is no exception. Due to China's massive 1.4 billion population, that equates to a ton of money, and so movie companies want to be sure to tap into the Chinese market.
I'm surprised it equals a lot of money since they're constantly fucking, like, they have horrible copyright laws over there. I mean, they're just like fucking bootlegging everything anyway.
And with China's limited movie outputs, it means Western companies like Disney will have little competition. But there's a catch. China only allows 34 foreign films to be shown in the country annually. So not only is the competition huge amongst American movie companies, it's even fiercer when factoring all the movie companies around the world that want to tap into the Chinese market. And so for your movie to be chosen for screening, you have to make sure it's absolutely squeaky clean for the Chinese censors, which means removing any negative depictions of China, but it also means you have to praise China. You have to be as non-threatening as possible. And these requirements don't just apply to the films being released. No, this involves all the production team. If these rules are broken by the actors, producers, or distributors, or anyone else, they will all be banned from the country without a second thought, causing these giant movie companies to lose billions of dollars. Disney figured this out firsthand when they distributed a film about Tibetan oppression from the Chinese called Kundun, which temporarily got the company blacklisted from China. To revert this ban, the then CEO had to profusely apologize and even hired the former Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, to prevent a total fallout with the country. After this incident, Disney had to jump through so many hoops just to get back in China's good books, which included buying multiple Chinese film distribution rights, hiring Chinese performance groups, and making plans to open a theme park in Shanghai. And Disney has since scrubbed all their involvement with the film. And as you may have guessed, this was when Eisner was CEO. He said, quote, "The bad news is that the film was made. The good news is that nobody watched it. I want to apologize, and in the future we should prevent this sort of thing, which insults our Chinese friends." In addition to the talks of genocide perpetuated by China being forbidden, there can also be no mention of Taiwan at all in Hollywood. I mean, just to give an example of how strict the rules are when it comes to any reference of the country, Top Gun Maverick is now facing a ban in China because of a single shot containing a Taiwanese patch on the protagonist's jacket. This was after the film distributor Paramount Pictures.
They fucking snuck that in there. Good on them. You think that was an accident? Hold on, you think that was an accident?
I mean, just to give an example of how strict the rules are when it comes to any reference of the country, Top Gun Maverick is now facing a ban in China because of a single shot containing a Taiwanese patch on the protagonist's jacket.
You think that's an accident? It's not an accident. That's on purpose. I respect that. There's no fucking way that's an accident. Based on the way that they're talking, hold on. Was it released in China? I guess it wasn't. It's not playing in China. Okay. I feel like that's not an accident. I feel like they did that on purpose. Base Tom Cruise, hell yeah. Could you imagine Tom Cruise, like, only do the movie if you put a Taiwanese patch on there? Fuck you, China.
This was after the film distributor Paramount Pictures refused to cater to the CCP's demands, saying they would not edit the flag out. But on the other side of the coin, refusing such orders from China is something Disney would never even...
Good. Fuck China. The Chinese government. Not the people. Well, I'd fuck some of the people, if you know what I'm saying. Some of them are pretty hot. Sometimes I look up Chinese BBWs. You know? Not bad. Not bad stuff.
Dream of. China is their main market now. I mean, just look at the disaster of a film called Mulan, which was supposed to be an easy slam dunk remake of the 1998 original, which turned out to be a financial and public embarrassment for the company, both in their Western and Chinese audience. Despite the movie's blatant pandering to the CCP, it still bombed at the premiere in China and lost $130 million at the box office. And
Good. Stop fucking pandering to China.
In addition, Disney quite distastefully gave thanks during the end credits of the film to 8 government entities in Xinjiang for allowing them to film there. And for those who don't know, this is the same region as the ongoing Uyghur genocide in China.
From Chinese police computers show that Uyghur prisoners in the western region of Xinjiang are shot on sight if they're caught trying to escape. Thousands of photos shed light on a secretive system of mass incarceration.
Yes, Disney is quite literally praising the people committing genocide in China.
Cool. Good for
However,
Disney.
Disney's pandering to China's authoritarian regime doesn't just stop there. Just look at the comparison of their box art for Star Wars The Force Awakens in the West and
Wait, for some reason, I like the Chinese version better. What is it? What is it? What's... Something... If I look at this, something feels less threatening about the Chinese version. I'm just kidding. This is too much. Oh, I think it's because Kylo Ren is facing a different direction. I think that's what it is. That's what it is. Also, they got BB-8 in here. Yeah, I think that's what it is. BB-8, it makes me feel less threatened by this, okay? I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding, guys, okay? Relax. Chill the fuck out. Okay? That's fucked
Star
up,
Wars
though.
The Force Awakens in the West and in China. They literally had to remove John Bottger to cater to the Chinese government's demands. And it was
That's fucked up, though. They had to get rid of John Bottega? Shit.
the same thing with the Black Panther movie, where they had to completely cover the protagonist's face on the Chinese version of the poster. Which is funny considering that back at home, Disney's very happy to hand out the white privilege checklist to their employees, along with an internal program with a series of training modules about anti-racism. I mean, Disney's always lecturing their workers about how they must not, quote, question black colleagues' lived experiences and challenge colorblind ideologies and rhetoric, whilst also
I'm not like necessarily against the fundamentals of that idea. Although it's clearly they don't give an actual fuck about any of that because they're going to cut like a fucking black guy. John Bodega. Is his name? How do you say his name? Boyega? They're going to cut him off the thing. That's just fucking stupid, bro. He was like a really big actor in that. They did him dirty by killing a storyline in episode 8, though. I'm just saying. He had such a good, he would have been such a good storyline. They fucking killed that shit. Right? He was fighting Brienne of Tarth, right? That was an awesome storyline. Up, it's boom, over. Cool. Thanks for just neutering that fucking storyline. Some dumb bullshit. Really fucked up the writing on that episode 8, bro.
also having staff recommended reading material, including things like 75 things white people can do for racial justice,
I ain't gonna read that, bro.
and your kids are not too young to talk about race. However, meanwhile, they censor
Yeah, they are. Don't teach your kids about race. So
black people from their movie posters and actively support a government committing genocide that also carries out racial segregation. And yet Disney's former CEO Bob Iger stated that the company should be, quote, taking a stand on political issues and that it will no longer shy away from politics in the future. A statement that's also likely caused by another sinister bureaucratic authoritarian regime, BlackRock. BlackRock is one of Disney's top shareholders, owning nearly 150 million shares in the company. Now, for those of you who don't know, BlackRock is the shadowy investment management firm that oversees roughly 10% of all stocks traded worldwide, which amounts to about $10 trillion in assets. In the words of Bloomberg, BlackRock is effectively a fourth branch of government. And with BlackRock's founder and CEO Larry Fink's personal connections with the former Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, BlackRock has been able to control multiple major banks, with Larry Fink largely being regarded as the most powerful man in America. And because of this, most investors and banks follow BlackRock's ESG ratings to know whether or not they should put their funds into a company. Now, an ESG rating, according to BlackRock, measures a company's exposure to long-term environmental and governance risks. These risks include things like energy efficiency, worker safety, and board independence, all of which will cause companies to have significant financial consequences if they're not followed properly. However, in 2018, this ESG score was modified when Larry wrote a letter telling all the companies under his thumb to, quote, contribute to society or risk losing our support, adding that society is demanding that companies, both public and private, serve a social purpose. And now, of course, Disney, being run by the most ruthless executives in modern history, does everything they can to please their investors, which is why Disney has the second highest ESG rating in the entertainment industry. And that's also why in the last couple of years,
well, it sounded like some of that was like energy efficiency, which is a good thing. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
Disney has been at the forefront of this new woke push, becoming ever more political, like the time they vehemently opposed Florida's new public education bill, a bill that stops teachers educating children below 3rd grade about sex and gender.
So, really quick on that, on the conversation about this whole thing, is I think the biggest problem with the Don't Say Gay bill, I don't think that, like, listen, I think parents should be able to like have a conversation about that. Like, you don't want to teach your kid about sex and gender below 3rd grade. I think that's reasonable, to be honest with you. You know, gender ideology, I think, you know, if your kids learn it on their own or whatever, like, be my guest. I don't think that you necessarily need to be teaching them. It's a little confusing. I'm not saying don't learn it, but like, you can probably wait until it's a little bit complicated. That being said, I think the biggest issue with that bill is that it allows, I think, teachers to sue schools like on a fucking whim, which is like massively financially horrible. Right, like they have to, like, it'll be a financial like train wreck to allow them to do that. I mean, if it was just like an oversight committee, that would make more sense. But it allows teachers to like sue. I think either teachers or the school, And it's just like, it's not a good idea, like go approaching it like that.
So why is Disney suddenly becoming so randomly opposed to this one bill? Why is a multi-billion-dollar company giving their input on the way grade school education is handled in the state of Florida? Disney has never done anything like this before. This is only happening after BlackRock changing their ESG rating, but their strict adherence to this ESG rating is causing Disney to now be faced with even bigger challenges, as it looks like the Disney company is currently taking some big financial hits. While Paramount Pictures claims they won't bow down to China or ESG scores, releasing Top Gun Maverick free from censorship, Paramount Pictures is now seeing huge success, with Top Gun Maverick cracking over $1 billion box office worldwide. A film that entertained audiences worldwide. A film that refused to denounce Taiwan and quote toxic masculinity.
All right, I'm gonna go watch Top Gun Maverick now. Tonight. I'm going to the mall with my wife. You know what I'm gonna do? Go to the mall with my wife. I'm gonna go pre-order the God of War Ragnarok Special Edition. See if I get my hands on a PlayStation 5. How do you get a PlayStation 5, by the way? How does that happen? How do you do that? You know? I don't know.
It's a film that just isn't political. And at the same time, Disney's $200 million budget Lightyear film gained only $150 million in sales. Because yet again, it was Disney's attempt at stuffing corporate wokeness down their audience's throats.
I don't think that Lightyear was stuffing corporate wokeness down everybody's throat. They had a gay kissing scene. People lost their minds. Like they didn't go, guys, we're adding a gay kiss scene. Yes, sisters. They added it back in, and then fucking conservatives lost their shit. Yeah, it wasn't that big. The movie wasn't great, in my opinion. But still, I don't think that they were like. I don't think it was really being that woke. I watched the movie. Storyline was a little off. Just so you know, Zurg is Buzz Lightyear in the future. I just thought if any of you were gonna go see that movie, now I fucking ruined it. I fucking ruined it for you. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. All right.
And right now, Disney stock price is plummeting, going from $200 down to only $90, becoming more and more dependent on their theme parks rather than their core content Walt Disney had originally pioneered. And with their new upcoming Baymax movie being reportedly about a non-binary Michelin man using female sanitary products, I can't really imagine kids are going to be rushing the droves to watch it.
I don't know if that's what it's about. I think it's a show, not a movie.
Perhaps Disney is going the route of Netflix, where their ruthless adherence to their investors and money at all costs attitude might now kill the Disney monopoly.
I don't know. It sounds like some of these criticisms are really good, like with the China shit, but then some of them are kind of stupid, like with the gay kiss scene, and I don't know.
Disney, once a company pioneering animation, cartoons, and generating beautiful allegorical stories that would transcend time and generations, is now becoming everything it sought to destroy, a hollowed-out, decrepit shell of a company, suing hospices, grieving parents, forcing wokeness amongst the apathetic masses, and supporting genocidal regimes, neglecting stories and entertainment for greed and power, causing the stock price to plummet and fans to become tired and wary of the company, which is why Disney serves as a warning of how all beautiful things eventually become sour.
Wow, incredible. I just shit.
I have a quick important announcement to make. I'm sick of being demonetized on YouTube. I'm sick of censoring these videos for the YouTube algorithm.
I know, man. We gotta bring back Donald Trump. He'll make YouTube great again. MYGA Myaga. All right, guys, we gotta bring him back.
So this is going to change. Every month, I'm going to be releasing unfiltered, raw, controversial videos for YouTube members. Videos about the darkest corners of the internet, TikTok, the CIA, China, Rothschilds.
That's crazy, brother. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down in the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.